Okay, I'm just going to do a little podcast here on how to do question number 54 in the midterm review. Okay, so here's the equation, which is not balanced. So the first thing we have to do is balance it. So I'm going to need to double my waters, and then I need 4 HFs. Okay, so I'm given that I have two different reactants, and I have amounts for each of them. And whenever I'm given two starting amounts for different reactants, I always have a limiting reactant problem. So I have to do the stoichiometry with both of them to figure out how much product I can make. Now I'm going to figure out how much water I can make because the question B asks how many grams of water actually form. So all I'm going to do, first I'm going to take the 6.341 grams of silicon dioxide and figure out how much water I can make. And then I'm going to do the same thing with hydrogen fluoride. Okay, so let's go ahead. And here's the Stoich. You can slow it down or back it up if you need to, but this should look pretty familiar to you. And we end up with 3.03 grams of water from the 6.34 grams of silicon dioxide. We're going to do the same thing with HF, figure out how much water we can make. And from that we can make 3.321 grams of, that should say, water. Okay. So we have established that because HF can make less, that is the limiting reactant, which makes SiO2 the excess reactant. So part B asks how much we can make. We're going to make 3.321 grams, whatever the limiting reactant allows us to make. And the limiting reactant is HF. So part D says how many grams of excess remain. So the excess is silicon dioxide. And what I have to figure out is, in order to make the amount of water that I'm going to make, how many grams of this silicon dioxide is it going to take? So we're going to do the Stoich starting with water to see how much silicon dioxide is required. And what we get is that we require 5.537 grams of SiO2. So that's how much is used. This is how much we started with. So we've got to subtract the two to figure out what we have left over. And when we do that, we get 0.8038 grams. Question E, the last part, asks if the reaction produces 2.63 grams of water, what's the percent yield? And here we go. We just take that amount of water that we made, that we actually got, divided by the theoretical yield, and we get 79.2%. I hope that helps.